Now what if I told you there were parts of Dublin you even haven't seen? I know, shocking, right? We're going off the beaten track, darlings, beyond the Guinness storehouse and those jolly leprechaun statues. Don't get me wrong, those are grand and all, but Dublin's true heart beats in its hidden corners. So buckle up, because we're about to discover a side of Dublin most tourists only dream of. All right, let's address the elephant in the room, or should I say the leprechaun in the pub. Dublin is often painted with broad strokes, and while some of these stereotypes have a grain of truth, they hardly capture the full picture of this vibrant city. People think Dublin's all Guinness rain and people bursting into spontaneous river dance. Sure, we do get our fair share of rain, and yes, Guinness is a beloved beverage here. And who can resist a good river dance performance? But to think that's all Dublin has to offer is like saying Paris is just about the Eiffel Tower or New York is only about Times Square. And while we do love a good jig and a pint, there's so much more to it. Dublin is a city of layers, each one revealing a different facet of its rich history and culture. From its literary giants like James Joyce and Oscar Wilde to its modern tech hubs, Dublin is a city that seamlessly blends the old with the new. It's like saying all of London smells like fish and chips. A tad reductive, wouldn't you say? Just as London is a tapestry of cultures, cuisines, and experiences, so too is Dublin. The city is a melting pot of influences, from its Viking origins to its contemporary cosmopolitan vibe. Finding these hidden gems, though, it's a bit like trying to find a sober Irishman on St. Patrick's Day. Tricky, but not impossible. The key is to look beyond the surface and explore the nooks and crannies that often go unnoticed. Whether it's a quaint little bookshop tucked away in a side street or a local cafe serving the best Irish breakfast, Dublin is full of surprises. Stick with me, I've got a few tricks up my sleeve. We'll venture off the beaten path and discover the true essence of Dublin. From its hidden gardens and historic landmarks to its vibrant art scene and culinary delights, there's so much more to this city than meets the eye. So lace up your walking shoes and get ready for an adventure. Dublin is waiting to be explored, and I promise it will be an experience you won't forget. Our first stop is... well, I can't tell you just yet. It's a secret, remember, but let's just say it involves a bookshop so charming it would make Shakespeare weep into his quill. We're talking floor-to-ceiling books, that lovely old book smell, and maybe even a ghost story or two if we're lucky. From there, we'll wander down cobblestone streets, stumble upon hidden courtyards bursting with flowers, and maybe even find a cafe where the scones are as good as my mother-in-law makes. Almost. You know what I love about Dublin? It's the people. The city is alive with their energy, their stories and their laughter. Every corner you turn, there's someone ready to share a piece of their life with you. They'll chat your ear off, in the best way possible, of course. Whether it's in a cosy pub, a bustling market, or just on the street, Dubliners have a way of making you feel right at home. Their warmth is infectious and their stories are endless. Earlier, I met a lovely woman walking her dog, a little terrier with more personality than a room full of drag queens. She was so friendly and eager to chat. And before I knew it, we were deep in conversation about the best hidden spots in the city. Her terrier, a sprightly little thing, was darting around with boundless energy. It was clear that this dog was a local celebrity, known and loved by everyone in the neighborhood. The woman told me that walking her dog was one of her favorite ways to meet new people and catch up with old friends. She told me about this hidden garden, a little oasis of calm in the midst of the city's hustle and bustle. It sounded like the perfect place to escape to when you need a break from the noise and excitement of Dublin. Tucked away behind a church, this garden is a well-kept secret among the locals. It's a place where time seems to stand still, where you can sit and reflect, surrounded by nature's beauty, where apparently time stands still. The woman described it as a sanctuary, a place where you can find peace and quiet, away from the hustle and bustle of the city. She said it's her favorite spot to read a book or just sit and think. And you know me, I can't resist a good dose of peace and quiet. I made a mental note to visit this hidden gem later. There's something magical about finding a quiet spot in a busy city, a place where you can recharge and find your center. We'll get to the garden later, but first let me tell you about this incredible street musician I stumbled upon. Dublin is famous for its street performers, and this one was truly exceptional. He was playing a hauntingly beautiful tune on his violin, and a small crowd had gathered to listen. The music seemed to transport everyone to another world, and for a few moments we were all connected by the melody. It was one of those magical Dublin moments that you never forget. Now, I know you lot are just bursting with your own Dublin secrets. Don't be shy, share them in the comments below. Which hidden pub has the best pint of Guinness? Where's the best place to find a brown bread ice cream sandwich? Don't knock it till you've tried it. And while you're at it, tell me, which of the spots we've seen so far has tickled your fancy the most? I'm dying to know. Chapter 5, Dublin, you took my breath away. Right, remember that garden I mentioned earlier? The one I stumbled upon quite by accident while wandering through the narrow, winding streets of Dublin? It was a serendipitous discovery, one that felt like uncovering a hidden gem in the heart of the bustling city. The one tucked away behind the church? Yes, that's the one. It's almost as if the garden was a well-kept secret, known only to a few lucky souls who happened to venture off the beaten path. Well, prepare to be amazed. As I stepped through the archway, I was greeted by a riot of colours and scents that seemed to transport me to another realm entirely. The garden was a vibrant tapestry of life, with flowers in full bloom and pathways that beckoned me to explore further. It was like stepping into another world. The contrast between the bustling city outside and the serene oasis within was stark. It felt as though I had crossed an invisible threshold into a place where time slowed down and nature reigned supreme. The noise of the city just melted away, replaced by the gentle chirping of birds and the soft rustling of leaves. It was a symphony of natural sounds that provided a soothing backdrop to the visual feast before me, replaced by the gentle chirping of birds, their melodies weaving through the air like a delicate thread. Each note seemed to carry a sense of peace and tranquility, inviting me to pause and listen, and the rustling of leaves as a gentle breeze whispered through the trees, adding a soft, almost musical quality to the atmosphere. It was as if the garden itself was alive, breathing and moving in harmony with the world around it. The air was thick with the scent of roses and honeysuckle, their fragrances mingling to create an intoxicating perfume that filled my senses. It was a heady mix that made me feel lightheaded and euphoric, as if I were floating on a cloud of floral bliss. And the sunlight filtering through the trees created the most magical dappled effect. The interplay of light and shadow danced across the ground, casting intricate patterns that seemed to shift and change with every passing moment. It was a sight to behold, a natural light show that added to the enchantment of the garden. The way the sun's rays pierced through the canopy, illuminating the vibrant foliage below, was nothing short of mesmerizing. I tell you, I sat there on a bench for a good hour, just soaking it all in. It was pure bliss. I felt a profound sense of peace and contentment, as if all the worries and stresses of the world had melted away, leaving only the beauty and tranquility of the garden. Just soaking it all in. It was pure bliss. I could have stayed there forever, lost in the magic of that hidden garden, where time seemed to stand still and the outside world felt like a distant memory. It was a moment of pure, unadulterated joy, one that I will cherish forever. Chapter 6. Dublin, you've stolen my heart. Well, my darlings, our little adventure through hidden Dublin has come to an end. And I must say, I'm feeling rather sentimental about it all. We've uncovered secret gardens, charming bookshops, and met some truly delightful characters along the way. It just goes to show there's always more to discover, even in a city you think you know like the back of your hand. Dublin, you've truly outdone yourself this time. No, you've been a good friend. Chapter 7. Don't be a stranger. Before I go, don't forget to give this video a big thumbs up if you enjoyed our little jaunt through Dublin. And if you're new around here, why not subscribe and join our little family? We have a grand old time, let me tell you. And be sure to click that little bell icon so you never miss an upload. Now go forth and discover your own hidden gems, and I'll see you in the next video. Until next time, Dublin. Well, wasn't that a lovely little trip? Dublin's full of surprises, isn't it? It's like that guest who arrives with a twinkle in their eye and a bottle of something bubbly. You just know you're in for a good time. And Dardir, well, he's the perfect host, leading us through the city's secret passages with a wink and a smile. I'm already planning my next visit, and I suggest you do the same.